clapping again for the wonderful Glasgow has done it before. Patrizia Di Campli and Vito.
Hello everyone. My name is Patrizia Di Campli and Vito, or if you're British, Paddy. And I'm a postdoc in computing science, and more precisely human-computer interaction, which is where we look at how people use computing systems. What that means is that, to the utter horror and confusion of our colleagues, we actually run experiments with people. So if you get into the computing science building, there are some poor lost souls trying desperately to find their way out of the building. Probably came out for our experiments, and we deemed them unworthy of being shown the way out. But what that also means, if you do research with people, it means you have to get every single study approved by the ethics committee. So they basically read through your whole study plan and try to figure out if there's anything that could bring discomfort or potential risk to the participants, and what we as the researcher do to try and minimize those. As an example, so my PhD was on thermal in-car feedback. So I was using temperature changes on the steering wheel to give information to drivers, something like directional cues, for example. So in terms of ethics, that meant that first, I had to tell them that the participants could just take off their hands of the temperature devices if the temperature change was becoming uncomfortable for them. And second, that I was actually doing the study in a driving simulator, so if they did that, they wouldn't die a horrible death. Another thing you also have to mention in the ethics application is how you want to give information to, like, how you tell the participants basically what you are going to do in the experiment, and how you collect consent from them, informed consent. Because we all know consent is important, consent is sexy, and we don't want our participants to get like tied up or, you know, be roped into something they might not enjoy. So you do that beforehand. And another thing you have to tell the ethics committees also, like, that you take breaks. Very important, don't forget to mention breaks. I actually got one back once, and they were telling me, don't just ask them if you want to take a break, you encourage them to take a break. Super important to always mention that. And also make sure that it's really up there. I don't know exactly why you need all the breaks in a study. I think it's probably so participants don't get uncomfortable sitting, I assume. But yeah, breaks very important, comfort very important. It's high on the priority list of the ethics committee. So I was once doing a study on electrotactile feedback. So for that you send like a light current into the outer layers of your skin for a kind of tingly sensation. And I phrased that quite carefully, because turns out reviews from the ethics committee get very suspicious if you tell them you want to electrocute your participants. That probably still burned from what psychologists did, like the electroshock experiments in the past. So we had to make very sure to lay out what we do, that people stay comfortable in our experiments. And what we did for that, what we calibrated. So we kind of just increased the feedback a little bit, and then we went back to the participant like, is this comfortable? And we only would go on if the participant was like, yes, this is comfortable. I wanted a participant who was like, yeah, I can still stand this. That is not the level of conviction I'm looking for. Right? Because I can still stand this sounds more like we're doing a pain endurance test, right? It makes me feel like I'm one of the Bene Gesserit from Dune, having the poison gum jabbar at their throat, like, you better not flinch. And I'll be, oh, I shall not fear. Fear is the mind killer. It's not what I want. It's certainly not what the ethics committee signed off on. I'm sure if I ever had been like, we will increase the feedback slightly until it becomes uncomfortable. And then we increase it further until the participant lies on the floor screaming in pain. Then we encourage them to take a short break. Maybe the break would have saved it, who knows? Or maybe it's all about recruitment. You just have to get the right people for the right experiments. I can already see a recruitment poster. Masochists wanted. Do you like pain? We offer free electrocution for science. Shopping experience guaranteed. Free escape the building anxiety as a bonus. Surely, if we informed participants beforehand they got their consent, ethics wouldn't disapprove, right? We even guarantee to take breaks. And you get one now as well. Thank you so much.